8 News at 5 starts now.
Thank you for joining us. We are following breaking developments in the search for missing UVA student Hannah Graham.
Police are now searching a different location based on a new sighting of the 18-year-old on the night she disappeared. And tonight, Hannah's family is speaking out for the very first time.
8 News reporter Parker Slava is live in Charlottesville with those breaking details. Parker.
Amy and Juan, good evening to you. It's been another very somber day here in Charlottesville as the UVA community continues searching for one of their own. Now, this comes as the Graham family has released a statement late this afternoon. It reads in part, quote, "Since learning of Hannah's disappearance, we have been heartbroken and at the same time heartened by the outpouring of support and help we have received." They go on to say, "Those of us who know and love Hannah know that she would not disappear without contacting family or friends. She is highly responsible and organized. She embraces life with energy and enthusiasm and has enriched the lives of many." They end by saying, "Please join us in our fervent wish for Hannah's safe return home." It's signed John, Susan, and James Graham. We do believe that's the mother, father, and brother of Hannah. Now, today's search has focused in this area right around this McGrady's Irish pub. Police telling us today around 12:46 on Saturday morning, Hannah was spotted here. Now, today we had a chance to follow around some of those search crews.
Time is of the essence because you really need, to follow up on leads and try to get out as quick as you can.
Time is of the essence, a message echoed by many of the search teams here looking for sophomore UVA student Hannah Graham. Captain Bobby Shiflett with the Albemarle County Sheriff's Department says they're leaving no leaf unturned.
You come across people, that you could ask us, "Hey, have you seen this person?" We usually have photos with us. We'll look for items that she could have had, that she could have thrown down, or an ID or a pocketbook or anything like that.
Yesterday, search teams focused around the intersection of 14th and Wortland Street. However, today that search shifted east to neighborhoods around this pub, where police say Graham was seen on surveillance camera leaving at 12:46 Saturday morning.
You take in account of what she was last wearing, what she had in her hands, in her person, and you look for that.
The majority of these searchers are volunteers. Captain Shiflett says as the evening goes on, more and more searchers are showing up, ready to help.
They see the seriousness in this, and we'll have a good turnout to help us to look for.
Now, we've also learned today that the FBI is here on the ground in Charlottesville assisting with the search. Now, the Charlottesville Police Department tells me overnight and into this morning they had received more than 60 tips about where Hannah may have been spotted last. One of those tips is what led them right here to the McGrady's Irish pub. Now, many folks here in this Charlottesville community say this story sounds all too familiar. You may recall Morgan Harrington went missing from the same area a few years back. Today, 8 News anchor Carrie O'Brien had a chance to catch up with her mother. She's standing by with more. Carrie?
Parker, thank you. Yes, a mother who knows all too well the pain of a missing daughter is calling on the community for help. I spoke on the phone with Jill Harrington, the mother of Morgan Harrington. You'll remember Morgan disappeared in Charlottesville during a Metallica concert. Her remains were later discovered in Albemarle County. Jill Harrington tells us her thoughts and prayers are with Hannah Graham's family. She says she's watching the search closely, speaking with the lead investigator in Morgan's case and offering to help search in any way possible. But she is most concerned about the Charlottesville community and how they can help. Jill is urging anyone who saw or knows something to go to police, even if it seems like the tiniest bit of information.
Please be forthcoming with information. If you have any shred of something that you've seen or you were concerned about, call police and let police filter the validity of information.
Harrington started a nonprofit, Help Save the Next Girl. The organization holds violence prevention forums on college campuses across the country. Juan?
Alrighty, thank you, Carrie, and thank you, Parker. Here's what we know. Graham has been missing for 3 days now and was last heard from in a text message around 1 a.m. on Saturday. She's 5'11" with blue eyes, light brown hair, and freckles. She was last seen in the outfit here, black pants and a silver crop top with mesh cutouts. If you can help, again, as Harrington said, no detail is too small. You can reach Charlottesville Police at the number there on your screen.
More bad news for Virginia schools. Tonight we've learned which schools made the grade and earned state accreditation and which schools did not. 8 News reporter Kristen Smith is live in Richmond with the dismal results. Kristen?
Amy, we're here at Thompson Middle School. This is one of 9 schools in Virginia to lose accreditation. What that means is that students at this school are performing below state standards. School accreditation is based primarily on standards of learning, or SOL scores. 2 years ago, Virginia's Department of Education made those tests more difficult. That's why some schools across the Commonwealth are struggling to meet state standards. But not in Chesterfield, where 100% of the district schools made the grade. 46 are fully accredited, 15 accredited with warning. Henrico County saw SOL scores at its schools slip, with 39 schools fully accredited, 27 accredited with warning, and 1 school lost all accreditation. More dismal results in Richmond, where only 11 schools are fully accredited. 44 are on the warning list, and 1 school, Thompson Middle, lost all accreditation.
We got to kind of like get with the program a little bit so that he can get the education that he needs so he'll be ready for the world, because it's not going to be too good if he don't.
While Richmond Public Schools hasn't revealed how it plans to address disappointing SOL scores, School Superintendent Dana Bedden did release this statement, which reads in part, "While we know that student success is more than just a singular measure, we must work diligently to ensure that our students' performance not only meets but exceeds the expectations set forth by state guidelines. For all of us in Virginia and in Richmond, meeting the mark will be a multi-year process." It's not all bad news. Other districts in our area received top marks. Goochland and Colonial Heights schools are all fully accredited. And in Hanover County, all but 1 school fully accredited. Now, if your child's school lost accreditation or made it to the warning list, don't panic. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll take a look at how state standards affect education. Reporting live in Richmond, Kristen Smith, 8 News.
Thank you, Kristen. And on a related note, in Petersburg, 2 schools have been denied accreditation because of underperformance. AP Hill Elementary and Peabody Middle Schools failed to meet standards, but officials are hoping year-round school helps to turn things around. Both schools were approved for the year-round curriculums, and students headed back to class in early August. Now, if you do want to see accreditation results for your child's school, you can find the complete report on our website, WRIC.com.
A man spotted carrying a long gun near an Alexandria school caused a lock-in today. The suspect was seen outside Maury Elementary. No one's been hurt, but police continue to check the area. A lock-in means there's no potential threat within a school itself. Refusing to let Virginians take the fall for shady practices, today Attorney General Mark Herring unveiled a lawsuit against 13 of the world's biggest banks. 8 News anchor Darielle Snipes found out what this means for you. Darielle?
Well, Juan, this is the largest suit ever under the Virginia Fraud Against Taxpayers Act, seeking $1.15 billion against 13 banks. Herring's office has been investigating this for months after a whistleblower came forward with sophisticated methods to pinpoint the fraud. He says these banks misled Virginia retirement system by selling mortgage-backed securities they knew were bad. And in the end, the VRS was forced to sell at a loss of $383 million.
Message today is clear. It doesn't matter if you're a small-time con artist or a multi-billion-dollar Wall Street bank. If you try to rip off Virginia consumers or Virginia taxpayers, we will catch you and you will be held responsible.
Herring says that this type of bad business affects all in the Commonwealth. Here's a list of the 13 banks named in the lawsuit. The big names include J.P. Morgan Securities, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup. Herring is also seeking a civil penalty against each bank in the amount of $5,500 to $11,000 for each violation. Darielle Snipes, 8 News.
Thank you, Darielle. A man and woman shot to death in a Richmond parking lot, now identified today as Sequenta Dixon and Andre Todd. Police were called to the Meadow Creek apartment complex around 10:30 last night after witnesses heard gunshots. Police say Dixon and Todd shared an apartment but have no information on who might have killed the pair. Call Crime Stoppers immediately if you know anything that can help police. Do you recognize this man? He is wanted in Henrico County for stealing alcohol from the ABC store on Glenside Drive. Police say the suspect stole booze multiple times from the same store, including when these pictures were taken on Wednesday, September 3rd. He left the store on foot and drove away in a white van. If you recognize him, call Crime Stoppers.
Longwood University is apologizing for its silence during massive resistance to desegregation in Prince Edward County. County schools closed their doors for 5 years rather than comply with the Supreme Court decision to ban racial segregation. Longwood's formal apology also includes a new scholarship program. The College of William & Mary and UVA have made similar efforts. As this happens, a Longwood basketball player is in trouble tonight for a dance-off gone wrong. Shaquille Johnson is charged with felony malicious wounding. Police say the fight began during a dance competition between Johnson and a student from Hampton-Sydney College. Longwood says Johnson is still a member of their basketball team.
We have so much ahead here at 5. News where you live in Richmond. Close to 100 new jobs are coming to the River City. We'll have more on the announcement from state and city officials coming up new at 5:30.
And up next here at 5, how many times the air quality in Central Virginia has been unhealthy across the summer? Your breath depends on it, and the numbers are in. Also ahead, we'll show you the very best way to trade in your old iPhone when you're upgrading to the new 6. John?
And outside here across Central Virginia, a lot of clouds have popped up out there where you live. Not much in the way of rainfall, though. Temperatures right now north of Interstate 64, pretty much in the upper 70s. Only a few of us topping 80 degrees. We'll talk all about what's on tap for tomorrow in just a moment.
You're watching 8 News, news where you live. Driving can be expensive, but tomorrow we'll show you easy ways to cut costs, from gas and repairs to insurance. Don't miss Good Morning Richmond. You're watching 8 News at 5 on WRIC.
Welcome back. The fate of Tony Stewart is in the hands of a grand jury, which will decide whether the NASCAR star should be charged with killing a driver he hit in his car. 20-year-old Kevin Ward Jr. was standing out on the track and shaking his fist at Stewart when he was struck back in August. He'd spun out while racing alongside Stewart a lap before. Stewart's issued a statement saying he looks forward to the process being completed and will cooperate with authorities. A big announcement by Macy's and Bloomingdale's today. The stores are testing same-day delivery when you buy online. Macy's will test that service in Chicago, Houston, LA, New Jersey, San Francisco, San Jose, Seattle, and DC. Bloomingdale's will just test in 4 of those locations: Chicago, LA, San Francisco, and San Jose. The pilot program begins this fall. We'll let you know if they expand here to Central Virginia.
Let's hope. Well, with the new iPhones already breaking Apple's pre-order records, the mad rush to sell your old phone is on. Do you have a 16-gig iPhone 5 or 5S through AT&T? If it's in good condition, Gazelle.com will pay as much as $240 for it. Usell.com, meanwhile, will give you up to $240. Amazon is offering gift cards as high as $283 in exchange for your old 5 or 5S. Through Apple's recycling program, you can get a gift card worth up to $310.
You get the money pretty much right away, and they handle all the billing and the shipping and everything like that, so I think that convenience is worth it.
Ackerman also says that if you do decide to sell that old phone, make sure you reset it and delete all the data on it. That option is usually found right in the iPhone settings.
United Airlines is offering its flight attendants who leave the company a $100,000 severance package. The airline hopes that 2,100 of its 23,000 flight attendants accept that deal. Despite a 2010 merger with Continental, United crews still fly separately. The company has yet to reach a contract that will cover both groups. After 32 years on North Robinson and the Fan, Buddy's is shutting its doors. Managers say the landlord won't renew their lease. The owners are looking to relocate but have no plans yet. Buddy's is asking its old bartenders to stop by and work a shift before the doors close for the last time at the end of January.
In health news now, deaths from drug overdoses are on the rise, and if you think it's only addicts at risk, maybe you should check your medicine cabinet. CDC researchers looking at deaths from prescription pain pills found they quadrupled in the last decade. About 5,000 people died from opioids in 1999, but by 2011, that number climbed to 17,000. Some good news where you live tonight when it comes to air pollution. Virginia saw a relatively good summer. Ozone reached unhealthy levels just one day this year. Last year also saw 1 days of high level, far below the 11 days we saw in both 2012 and 2011. Ozone levels are driven up from hot, stagnant weather. And John, fortunately, a lot of that's in the past for us, at least for this season. Today was a pretty nice day.
It was actually okay outside, and again, this summer, relatively cool compared to when you back 2010, 11, and 12. We had those ozone issues. Most of us are in the mid to upper 70s. Looking at the weather where you live right now, some of the cooler spots in Louise at 75, 76 Tappahannock, 76 degrees over in West Point. Now, some of those clouds are bubbling up there. The radar is trying to show a little something or other right here, basically now just south of Interstate 64 and maybe over the northern part of Chesterfield County. A lot of this is probably not reaching the ground because it's pretty dry where you and I are standing, but there are some streamers coming down out of the clouds. We call that Virga. Over here, east of Providence Forge to West Point. That could be reaching the ground. You head down 64 towards the outlets. There are storms reaching the ground here, North Carolina. They're headed down and out of the way, but this bright red one has actually produced a little bit of hail. It's a little weak weather disturbance swinging through over. That's kind of a secondary push of some of the cooler air that's building in from the Midwest and is going to pretty much hang around for the rest of the week and unfortunately give us dry weather because we need rainfall here across central Virginia. Reservoirs and lakes are really low right now. So here are the clouds coming through to try to produce a couple light showers. They're going to kind of break up tonight. A little later on, we'll get some fog. West of the metro area, we're down in the middle 50s, 60 degrees or so for us right here in the city. So tonight's forecast, clouds will thin out through the evening hours. Little late night fog, 66 at midnight, down to 60. And then tomorrow during the day, kind of an instant replay of today. Mixture of sunshine and cloudiness. Starts you and the kids are at the bus at 64 degrees. We get up to 77 during the afternoon hours. Weather map tomorrow, again, a little fog across the area into Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m. We look pretty good over us. Then the fog burns off. We have a partly cloudy afternoon. Tomorrow night, fair to partly cloudy skies expected for us. Another little system comes by on Thursday. That's going to drive the clouds out of here. Thursday will warm up close to 80 degrees, and then we'll drop right back down again temperature-wise. So the 8-day forecast, it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. The warmest days are Thursday at 80, Sunday at 82, Monday at 83. Monday's the only reasonable looking opportunity for some rainfall here in the area. We'll look for those overnight lows comfortable down in the 50s.
Thanks, John. Still ahead tonight, a wild police chase caught on camera. We'll show you how an officer risks his own life to stop the drunk driver and save some kids inside.
8 News Storm Tracker Weather is sponsored by Bruce's Super Body Shops, where you never pay more than your deductible.
A memorial service in D.C. today marking the 1-year anniversary of the Navy Yard shooting. Aaron Alexis, a former U.S. Navy reservist, went on a shooting rampage inside the Washington Navy Yard, killing 12 people before being shot dead by police. Top Navy officials and more than 2,000 people were at today's ceremony to remember the victims. The names of all 12 victims were read, followed by a ringing of the bell.
Caught on camera, an officer's dramatic act of heroism. Watch as an intoxicated driver barrels down the wrong way on the Texas highway. 2 small kids are in that car. Now, before the driver collides with oncoming traffic, Sergeant Gary Sharpen steps in, driving his cruiser directly into the path of that speeding vehicle while shouting at other drivers to clear out. His game of chicken works. The driver slams on the brakes just feet before impact.
This guy was as reckless and dangerous as he was. He needed to be stopped somewhere or another.
The driver's been charged with endangering a child, driving while intoxicated, and evading arrest.
Everyone likes to get a back massage, right? Turns out even kitties do. We have more of this viral video after the break.
And here it is, our special keyword of the day. You can enter Bruno at rewards.wric.com today to get you 2,500 points. Use those points to play games or win prizes. And stay with us.
Oh, we're back with these adorable kitties in the window of a pet shop like you've never seen before. One sibling kneading on the other. It's a deep tissue massage like you've never seen and you probably would like to enjoy. This special video was captured last Wednesday and it's gone viral already with more than 15,000 comments on Facebook, 61,000 likes, and 229,000 shares. No wonder. Pretty cute.
All right, a brand new half hour of 8 News is just a few minutes away.
And Christina, what are you working on for 5:30?
Well, coming up, news where you live in Richmond tonight. Police need your help finding the person responsible for graffiti vandalism near West Marshall Street. A closer look at these surveillance pictures. That's at 5:30. And we caught up with Richmond Mayor Dwight Jones and asked him about the sudden resignation of CAO Byron Marshall. Hear what he had to say. That's next at 5:30. Mark?
Go to the doctor or pay your electric bill or a water bill or a house payment.
I'm Mark Tenya. We'll have more from those hoping lawmakers come to an agreement and expand Medicaid this week. We'll have that story at 5:30.
And out in the Atlantic Ocean, we still have a Hurricane Edouard churning around. It's still got a pretty good punch with it. No direct effects on us, but it is kind of slowing weather systems down as they pass to the east of us here in central Virginia. That's why the cloud's going to kind of hang around for another day or so. If you're headed out this evening, the weather where you live across central Virginia, we'll look for about 74 degrees at 8 p.m. and eventually working our way down as the clouds break a little bit to around 66 at the midnight hour.
It's been nice to shut off the AC and just open the windows and enjoy those evenings with the great weather.
Yes, fall is rushing up upon us.
Live picture for you now from the Virginia War Memorial. We'll be back after the break.
8 News at 5:30 starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Amy Lacey.
And I'm Juan Conde. Here's a look at our top stories. There are new clues tonight in the case of missing UVA student Hannah Graham. Today, police moved their search for the 18-year-old based on a news sighting of Hannah the night she disappeared. Hannah's family is also speaking out for the first time. They say they're heartbroken, and it's not like their daughter to disappear without contacting family or friends. Coming up at 6, we'll be live in Charlottesville with more details on what crews are doing to find Hannah.
We're also learning which schools in our area are making the grade, earning full accreditation. In Chesterfield County, 75% of the district schools earned full accreditation. The others are accredited with warning. In Henrico, Wilder Middle School was denied any accreditation, and more than 40% of Henrico schools are accredited with warning. The numbers are even worse in Richmond, where only 11 schools are fully accredited. Accreditation is based on SOL scores, which have dropped statewide over the past 2 years. In 2 days, lawmakers will come back to Richmond for a special session to debate Medicare expansion. Today, those in support of expanding the program shared their stories in hopes of getting it passed. 8 News reporter Mark Tenya joins us with more. Mark?
Amy, the fight between Democrats and Republicans over the program has been going on for months. Meanwhile, some Virginians without health insurance are hoping some deal is passed so they'll have access to some much-needed health care.
I think we need to stop playing Russian roulette with human beings' life.
Edna Gully lives in Southwest Virginia. She relies on medical care from a group called Remote Area Medical, made up of volunteers that help those without health insurance across the country. But the group is only available twice a week in her area, one time forcing her to go to the ER for an asthma attack where she was left with a huge bill.
I don't have $3,000 to pay, but that was my only hope.
Gully says there have been a number of times she's been faced with a tough decision.
Go to the doctor or pay your electric bill or a water bill or a house payment.
Her reaction to the impasse between lawmakers?
I'm frustrated with all of it.
I do believe if we sit in a room, around a room for a couple of hours, we can hash this thing out and do what's in the best interest of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
That was Governor Terry McAuliffe speaking yesterday about his hopes of expanding Medicaid. But Republicans say the whole program needs to be restructured or it will bankrupt the state.
Medicaid, as we know it, present Medicaid, is growing at unsustainable rates. 8% a year, 1,600% in the past 30 years. Medicaid is the largest part of our budget.
But the Speaker says lawmakers will give it thought during this week's special session.
We promised we'd give it a fair and balanced hearing, and that's what we're going to do Thursday.
Now, some lawmakers say if they don't come to an agreement on Thursday, they're hoping to at least have a starting point for negotiations as they go into next session. Mark Tenya, 8 News.
Thank you, Mark. News where you live in Richmond now, where a water main break is still causing some delays. It's here at the intersection of Cary and Harrison Streets. The eastbound lanes on Cary are still closed, and drivers can expect delays in the area for at least another hour.
Richmond police need your help to identify this man who vandalized a parking sign in the side of a building. Take a close look. These are surveillance pictures. The incident happened around 4 a.m. back on August 28th. The suspect vandalized 2 objects in the 100 block of West Marshall Street. If you know who this man is or have information that can help police, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers 780-1000. Also in Richmond, more fallout after the sudden resignation of the mayor's right-hand man, Byron Marshall.
Only a few people know exactly why the chief administrative officer left, and there's been controversy for city leaders who want to know those details.
8 News reporter Tim Ronka is standing by with the latest.
Well, the mayor's office asked city council members who wanted to know what happened with Marshall to sign a confidentiality agreement, meaning they can't tell anyone about what they learned. It's raised a lot of questions over government transparency, and I confronted the mayor about that today.
I think that the city council deserves to have full disclosure, and whatever they decide to do, it's up to them.
But why was it
It's a personal issue, and I'm really sorry. I wish I could give you more information, but that's all I can give you.
The mayor ended up dodging a lot of questions, but says when he can tell more about what happened, he will. In the meantime, several council members came out publicly and said they would not sign that disclosure, including Parker Agelesto.
We're still in this kind of grief process because Mr. Marshall's departure is so sudden. And I think we're going to ultimately get to a point where we have more information.
We do now know that Council President Charles Samuels did sign that agreement. John Beliles and Reva Trammell said they would not sign it. What I've also learned today is that an outside law firm was brought in for this, and they are charging $330 an hour of your taxpayer money. We have more on this story tonight at 11. Tim Bronca, 8 News.
Absolutely shocking. Thank you, Tim. Also today in Richmond, state and city officials announced a new grant that will bring more jobs and food assistance to folks in the River City. With more on that special announcement, let's go now to 8 News anchor Darielle Snipes.
Juan, well, Governor Terry McAuliffe announced 75 new jobs to the city of Richmond. This as Relay Foods is expanding its Richmond Fulfillment Center. In addition to the new jobs, the company will invest more than $710,000 and increase its Mid-Atlantic sales of Virginia-sourced meats, produce, dairy products, and value-added foods by $3 million over the next 3 years.
What we love about this, what I know my husband loves about this as an entrepreneur, is that this is a sustainable model. This is a for-profit. It benefits your company, your employees, but it also benefits our Virginia farmers. And fair price for our farmers is priority number 1.
And the company, in partnership with Virginia and Richmond, will invest in updates to its primary warehouse, as well as a new warehouse it plans to build in 2016. Darielle Snipes, 8 News.
Thanks, Darielle. News where you live now in Chesterfield. The county's new View app is live. Parents can now keep track of a child's progress at school with grades, attendance records, and class schedules all right there on a smartphone. The app's a first for Chesterfield. It's free and available for download at both the iTunes Store and Google Play Store.
Did you know you have a brand new album in your iTunes account, courtesy of Apple? Not everybody's happy about it. We'll tell you how to delete it after the break. Plus, thousands are going overseas to fight the Ebola virus. What does that mean for us here in the U.S.? Find out when we come back. John?
Live look outside right now here across central Virginia, the weather where you live, over downtown Richmond, a little hazy, some of those puffy fair weather clouds out there. But those clouds aren't producing any significant rainfall that we need here. We'll talk about that in a moment. Christina?
Thanks, John. Coming up on 8 News at 6 News, where you live in Richmond, we now know when the teen accused of killing 8-year-old Marty Cobb will face a jury. And we have the final test results on the Charlottesville patient being tested for Ebola. Plus, one Henrico Farmers Market run by middle school students is changing its hours for the fall. Details tonight at 6. Amy.
Thanks, Christina. You're watching 8 News at 5:30 right now. We're covering the news where you live.
From Doswell to Hopewell, don't go anywhere. 8 News at 5:30 returns in just a moment.
Every day, Good Morning Richmond covers the news where you live.
You told us what you want in the morning. Local news that's happening right now.
More live coverage with more reporters on the scene.
Weather that's ready when you are. No one brings you more local weather in the morning than we do.
More traffic reports from where you live with those unexpected delays and alternate routes.
Get more of what you're looking for in the morning.
Good Morning Richmond, starting at 4:30 a.m. on 8 News. News where you live.